Roger here, Human Capital Management Consultant for the benefit companies. Welcome to this episode of Inside Connect and Simplify. We do all the things. So I just attended the Wisconsin SHRM conference, and in all my chats with attendees, one stood out in particular. This attendee told me what was going on in her world. I told her our company's story, and she said, "Wow, you really do all the things." And I thought about it, and I said, "Yeah, we actually do." So today I have Kathy, Vice President of the benefit companies here joining me, and she's going to talk about all the things. Let's start with, tell us about the company story.
Yes, thanks, Roger, and thank you, everyone. Yeah, it's a great story to tell. So the benefit companies has been in business for 47 years, and if you think of us as an umbrella, there are 9 companies underneath that umbrella that provide products and services specifically to the small and medium-sized business market. And you might say, okay, well, what's small and medium-sized? Great question. We work with employers that have as few as 2 employees all the way up to thousands of employees. I would say the vast majority of the businesses that we work with have somewhere between 25 employees and 600 employees, and they fall within the realm there. We have 9 companies, all, like I said, providing products and services for that business market, everything from employee benefits to retirement plan services, financial advice and education. We do payroll processing and services for companies, time and attendance, ACA compliance and administration, HR consulting, human resources consulting, and property and casualty insurance, including business and commercial insurance, general liability, workers' compensation, etc.
And that's a huge list. So 47 years ago,
list.
It's an impressive list, right? How did we actually get started? Where did it all start?
Yeah, it's a great story. We, back after the passage of ERISA in 1974, which was a landmark piece of legislation affecting the compliance and administration of employee benefits, our owner started the company, and he started the company in 2 core areas, in the employee benefits area and in the retirement plan services area. And really what happened to us over the past 47 years is we grew organically. We worked with customers on employee benefits and retirement plan services, 401k administration, and they said to us, "Gosh, you guys do a great job in these areas. Can you help us with payroll? Can you help us with time and attendance? Can you help us with HR?" And so out of that request grew these other businesses.
So when we're talking about employee benefits, what does that mean?
Great. Yeah. Employee benefits, we actually have 2 companies under that section. We have Benefits Inc. and Beneco of Wisconsin, which provide fully insured and self-funded coverages for health insurance for businesses to provide to their employees, dental insurance, vision insurance, life, disability, accident, critical illness, long-term care, those types of benefits. Very important, very meaningful, especially coming out of a global pandemic. A lot of companies are focused on offering good benefits, employee benefits for their employees.
And as you said, we started there, but also with retirement plans. What do we do with retirement plans?
Yeah, we started in the qualified retirement plan area, and we started working with companies on 401k administration. And we also have a financial advice and education arm. What we find when we work with our clients is that there's a gap of understanding for saving for retirement when it comes to employees. And so you might have an employer who definitely wants to put in a 401k plan, encourage their employees to save for retirement, super important. But a lot of times the employees don't really understand the value. We actually have advisors go in and help employees understand. We educate and we work with employees at a group and in an individual level to help them understand how to work with the retirement benefits.
All right. So when I joined the company, one thing I really didn't know anything about was time labor management. Talk about that.
Yeah. Time labor management is another area. And I think there's a misconception sometimes with time and attendance that it's really only for manufacturing companies. Oh, it's the time clock, it's the old paper card we put in a punch machine. All of that's really changed. And what we've seen, and really where companies are right now, almost everyone is using time and attendance for the management of vacation time, also known as PTO, paid time off. So we can be working with companies across the spectrum of industry, whether it's education, hospitality, nonprofit, municipalities, and of course, manufacturing. And they're using time and attendance to manage the paid time off benefits for their employees, but they're also using time and attendance to, in a lot of cases, manage projects within their company.
All right. So on the HR side of the world, that's changed dramatically over the last, I don't know how many years, but when I think HR, I'm thinking somebody who's recruiting and bringing somebody on board. It's way more than that. Talk about HR.
It is absolutely way more than that. HR, our Ben HR company is probably one of the fastest growing divisions in our organization. I think with the advent of government regulation and policies being driven by multiple organizations, you've got EEOC, you've got Department of Labor, you've got Health and Human Services, you've got IRS, you've got a lot of different arms of the government writing rules and regulations that businesses really, frankly, of all sizes have to adhere to. So we do everything for an organization from as simple as maybe just making sure that their handbook is up to date, all the way to the opposite end of the spectrum, which would be very complex, difficult employee relations issues, and then everything in between. And we've got just a fantastic team of dedicated HR specialists that help customers and our clients navigate those waters. It's interesting in HR because we don't typically see a dedicated HR director position in a business until that company has somewhere between 100 to 150 employees. So until an organization is at that level and then has that dedicated internal resource, they really are, the person that's handling HR in an organization might be the owner, it might be a president, it might be a CFO, it might be the office manager who frankly is doing a lot of things and they're kind of winging it. So they love having a resource to be able to go to and bounce questions off of and get guidance. Really important.
In reality is some of our clients, we actually are their quote unquote HR department.
Absolutely.
We do it all.
You bet. And right, we do everything from consulting on a specific, maybe one-off issue to actually being a dedicated HR resource for a client. Yes.
So you did mention rules and regs, and what came about probably most recently, the newest company, if you will, would be the ACA compliance space. So talk about that.
Yeah, that was an area that we made the decision to get into that business back after I would say the Supreme Court in 2012 upheld the legality of the individual mandate, which basically said that everybody had to be covered by insurance or pay a tax or penalty. And along with that individual mandate came something called the employer mandate, and that required businesses with 50 or more full-time equivalent employees to provide coverage that met certain government criteria. And not only did they have to provide that coverage, but if they didn't, they had to pay a significant penalty for not providing that coverage. And all of that had to get reported on an annual basis to the government. What's interesting about ACA is that the rules and the regulations governing ACA really mirror the qualified plan area and the qualified retirement plan area. So there's discrimination testing, there's documentation, the need to document, there's the need to track. People who have 401k plans will understand this. A lot of times in 401k plans, you track an employee's hours to determine if they're eligible to enroll in the plan going forward. The ACA works the same way. So a lot of that framework that we see on the 401k side is the same on ACA. So we felt like we had the knowledge to move into that space, and we knew that our clients were going to need help with that. So we launched that company in 2014, and it continues to be an important service for our clients today.
All right, so just a couple more, but we've gone through a handful already. Just a couple more companies, though, that we actually designate as separate areas. So talk about the P&C side of what we do for businesses.
Yeah, our Benepac division provides business and commercial insurance to companies. So we provide everything from workers' compensation, which is by law, you have to have it if you have a business here in the state of Wisconsin, to general liability, property insurance. There's a lot going on in the world of business insurance right now, especially with the advent of technology. You've got crime policies, for example, that can help protect an organization against crimes committed against, if somebody steals technology or uses technology to breach information of a business. It's important to have some of that type of coverage. We also work with a company that is in the media space, and having certain coverages to protect them from a media aspect, both social media, television, radio media is also really important. So having an arm of our company that can work with businesses in the unique aspects of their business to make sure that they're insured is really important.
All right, so I think we covered everything but payroll.
Payroll. Last but not least, I should say. We started in the payroll space about 20 years ago, and we move about $500 million a year in payroll for companies, predominantly here in the state of Wisconsin, but we process payroll in all 50 states. Payroll is a really interesting service. It's really important, and anybody listening that has a business knows how important accurate payroll processing is. We've got a lot of interesting things happening with regards to payroll. I think the pandemic showed us that the government has figured out that a great way to be able to help employees quickly, and employers for that matter, is through payroll. So one of the things that happened during the pandemic is we had something called FFCRA credits, or Family First Coronavirus credits. The government, when the pandemic hit, said to employers of all sizes, if you need to send people home for 2 weeks because of COVID, we need you to pay them. And the best way to handle that was to have the company pay everyone, and then the government reimbursed the companies for that payroll expense when companies filed their quarterly payroll tax returns with the government. So it really was an effective way to facilitate the movement of money so that employees could get paid and employers could get reimbursed by the government. The other thing that's happening in payroll around the country that is really interesting is we're starting to see in certain states, down to the community level, the municipality level, the inclusion of payroll taxes. And we're seeing it not necessarily here in the state of Wisconsin, but in a lot of neighboring states. And it's a trend that's catching on. So the complexity for an employer is if you have an employee that lives and works in another state, you may have to be filing local taxes in addition to state taxes. And unless you're working with a payroll bureau that understands that complexity, that can get away from you, and then you can end up with tax notices, and that's never a good thing.
So 47 years of doing business in not all 47 years in all spaces, but we've been doing a lot of this. So we have subject matter experts in every one of these spaces, which kind of makes us a little different. So in the last 5 years, we got to a point of going, now there's technology that goes along with this. Mm-hmm. We developed something that we now call our signature service. Talk about that.
Yeah, great. Our signature service is something called Connect and Simplify. And what we can do for our business clients is we can wrap all of these companies and all of these services into that Connect and Simplify service. So how it works is when we work with an organization on payroll, that's the hub of information. All of the employee data sits inside that payroll system. We have employee demographic information. We've got earnings information. We've got when an employer is hiring, when an employer has employees leave the organization, and then we're able to take that information and apply it to these other services under our umbrella. So when you work with us in payroll and in benefits and retirement, for example, we're able to connect those things. When you have a new employee, we're able to help you get that person enrolled in the health insurance and dental and vision, life and disability, as well as get them enrolled in the 401k plan. So it really helps that small and medium-sized business with the administration of all of the benefits and the tasks.
Yeah. So a lot of companies that we work with are coming from a space that they've never seen this before.
Right.
And we call it human capital management, and they go, okay, what does that mean? We're not going to go there necessarily today. We're going to get to that down the road, but that's really where things have changed in the last 5 years.
It is. It's where the technology is heading, and I'm glad that you brought that up because underneath our Connect and Simplify service lies an important piece of technology that really is the support for our payroll services. And that is technology that's called an HCM system or human capital management system. And we're going to talk about that in the next podcast and dive a little bit deeper into what is a human capital management system and how are we using it for our business clients. But it really is the foundational software that allows us to connect and simplify these services for our clients. And it's the technology that's going to take us into the future. And that's really important.
All right. So thank you for giving us the picture of what we do here and how we got to where we are today. And as we said, we're going to come back. We're going to do more on this. We're going to talk about HCM in the marketplace in a variety of ways. So that's coming up in the future. Thanks for being here today. And we'll talk about that down the road.
Thank you.
All right. So thank you as well for listening today. We appreciate that. Be well. Inside Connect and Simplify is sponsored by the Benefit Companies and our trademarked human capital management platform, Connect and Simplify. Connect and Simplify integrates payroll, time labor management, human resources, retirement plans, and employee benefits in one single sign-on cloud-based platform. We help you manage your workforce from hire to retire. Go to connectandsimplify.com to learn more about our products and services, our educational resources, and our relationship with UKG, Ultimate Kronos Group. UKG is our technology partner who gives us the best-in-class, state-of-the-art technology so we can give our clients the best solutions for their company. Again, that is connectandsimplify.com. Thanks for listening.